movie starts days after the events of Smile 1, which means Joel has only one day left to pass the curse on to someone else. Remember that, as we saw in the first movie, this curse is transmitted from one person to another through a traumatic event. About a week after someone is infected with this curse, on their last day, the entity takes full control of that person, forcing them to violently take their own life in front of someone else. That witness then becomes cursed, and the cycle repeats itself over and over again. Knowing this, a desperate Joel finds himself in front of a house where he sees two men. His plan is simple: eliminate one of them in front of the other to pass the curse on and save himself. However, things don't go as expected. It turns out these men are part of a gang of traffickers, and when they see Joel eliminate one partner, the other shoots him. In the shootout, the other man also ends up dead, so without a living witness, the curse continues. Fortunately for Joel, he encounters a new character, Lewis, who, scared and hiding in a corner, has witnessed the entire traumatic scene. So now he is the one who carries the curse. Just when Joel thinks he is out of danger, the rest of the gang arrives at the house. Although he manages to escape, while running down the street, a truck runs him over. So Joel didn't have a happy ending either. The story then introduces us to a new protagonist, Skye Riley, a famous singer who returns to the stage after a year's absence following a terrible car accident in which her boyfriend, Paul Hudson, a famous actor, died. On her return to public life, Skye appears on a talk show as after the accident, she spent a year in rehab fighting substance addiction. Skye needs to resume her career, and part of that involves recording a new video. While rehearsing the choreography, she feels severe back pain due to permanent damage from the accident, which causes her intense discomfort. To control it, she needs powerful medications, but due to her addiction problems, her mother Elizabeth, who is also her manager, has prohibited her from taking them. So Skye always resorts to getting pills secretly, and her trusted supplier is none other than Luis. When she arrives at Luis's apartment, he is completely paranoid, threatening her with a gun. However, when he checks his cell phone and finds Skye's message saying she would be coming, he lowers the gun. He then goes to his room to look for Skye's pills, but takes forever. When Luis finally returns, he starts to see something terrifying that Skye can't see. That's when we know there is no turning back. A disturbing smile appears on his face, and suddenly he starts hitting his face repeatedly with a gym disc, transferring the curse to Skye. Scared to death, she decides to escape from the place without reporting it to the police, since she doesn't want to be associated with a drug dealer. When she arrives at her apartment, she takes a shower to try to relax, but while brushing her hair, she accidentally pulls out a strand. The next day, during a photo session, her mother's manager suggests that she reconcile with Gemma, her best friend, whom she hasn't spoken to for a year. Just at that moment, Darius, the president of the record label, appears and proposes that she be the presenter of a charity dinner being organized. Later, Skye decides to write a message to Gemma but suddenly deletes it. She receives a message from an unknown number claiming to know she was at Luis's apartment the night of his death. From then on, paranoia begins to take over her. When she looks in the mirror, she has a chilling vision. Luis appears behind her, giving her a terrifying smile. The next morning, during an autograph signing, Skye's fans can't stop telling her how incredible her music is. Everything is going well until Alfredo, an obsessed fan, appears. After she signs his yellow shirt, he begins to harass her. But that's not the strangest thing. A girl approaches with a fixed smile and doesn't stop staring at her. After these awkward moments, Skye feels it's time to make peace with her friend Gemma. So she leaves her a message, and to her surprise, Gemma calls her right away to say she's going to visit. While waiting, Skye drinks from a bottle and starts playing the piano until she hears something break. When she turns around, she realizes that the bottle is broken on the floor. And not only that, there is also Alfredo's yellow t-shirt along with the clothes he was wearing, as if he had been undressing while walking to Skye's room and was waiting for her there. Terrified, she runs out, but just at that moment Gemma arrives. Skye tries to explain, but when she looks around, there is no broken bottle or scattered clothes. Everything is in order. Skye tells Gemma what happened with Luis and asks her to stay the night. However, despite having company, Skye cannot fall asleep. Nightmares of the accident torment her. In the middle of the night, she seems to see Gemma with a sinister smile. But when she wakes up, she realizes it was all a product of her imagination, because it's already daylight and Gemma has 2 cups of coffee. Skye attends rehearsals for her tour, but during the choreography, she feels her knee fracture like in the accident. When they check it, they realize there is nothing there, it was just another vision. On the way to her dressing room, Skye sees her assistant Joseph leave with a macabre smile, and when she enters, she finds everything destroyed. She is angry and accuses him of having done it, but her mother tries to calm her down, assuring her that this isn't possible since Joseph was with her the whole time. Despite the bad time she has had, Skye knows she must fulfill her commitments, so she gets ready to attend the charity dinner. At the event, things do not improve. The teleprompter stops, and Skye has to improvise a speech that is undoubtedly a disaster. Finally, the teleprompter works again, and when it's her turn to introduce the special guest of the night, without thinking, the name of Paul Hudson, her dead boyfriend, appears on the screen. The audience is stunned, thinking it is a joke in very bad taste. The worst thing is that they see Paul in the audience going up on stage. In panic, Skye accidentally pushes an elderly woman who is next to her, completely ruining her presentation. Skye receives another message from an unknown number warning her that she is in danger. Despite her doubts, she decides to meet with the person who sent it. Hours later, they meet in a bar. The guy is Morris, a nurse who has been investigating the victims of the curse since it killed his brother. Skye explains to him how the curse is transferred from one person to another, and he has the theory that the Smile entity will die without a host. So with his skills as a nurse, he suggests that he can make Skye die for a few minutes and then revive her, removing the curse without it being passed on to someone else. The people in the bar start to recognize Skye, and she gets scared and runs away from the place. Back in her apartment, the curse does not leave her alone. This time the entity takes the form of her own dancers, who in a brutal movement, crash her head against the piano, causing a concussion. While she is unconscious, she has a flashback of the night of the accident, revealing that under the influence of substances, Skye argued with Paul and, full of anger, took the wheel and intentionally caused the car to crash. Skye wakes up in a clinic with her mother, who repeats that she needs to recover to be able to continue with the tour. After an argument, her mother smiles in a disturbing way and breaks a mirror, using a fragment to hurt herself. Desperate, Skye runs trying to get out of the room, but just when she goes to open the door, she realizes she has the bloody piece of glass in her hand. Horrified, she realizes that it was she who cut her mother. While trying to escape from the hospital, Skye steals a guard's gun and goes out into the street. There she meets Gemma, who came to visit her. Upset, Skye points the gun at a driver to get out of his truck and asks Gemma to drive. Skye contacts Morris, who gives her his location. A while later, she receives a call from the real Gemma, who explains that she hadn't responded to her messages because she needed time to forgive her. Listening to this, Skye realizes that the entity had been impersonating Gemma all this time. With a clear mind, Skye manages to wake up from the hallucination and realizes that she herself was driving. Finally, she meets Morris in an abandoned pizzeria. Morris's plan is to put her in a freezer and then inject her with a substance that stops her heart for 8 minutes. The idea is to make sure that the entity is gone and then revive her by injecting her with adrenaline. Skye settles on the freezer plate, ready for what's coming. But Morris leaves her only for a moment. Then, when the entity that has taken on Skye's pre-accident appearance appears to scare her, reliving all the trauma in a terrifyingly desperate way, Skye injects herself with the intention of dying, believing it is her only way out. But to her surprise, the injection turns out to be just a figment of her imagination. The entity locks her in a dark place, and suddenly Skye appears on stage on the night of her tour concert, surrounded by millions of fans. To her surprise, in the crowd she sees her mother alive, meaning that what happened in the clinic when she attacked her with a piece of mirror was just a hallucination. She never had the opportunity to reconcile with Gemma or to meet Morris again. It was always the entity playing with her mind. The entity appears on stage using Skye's appearance but breaking her skin to reveal its true form. Although only Skye can see it, the entity prepares to possess Skye's body because it was already her 7th day with the curse. The girl's mind finally succumbs to the entity's control, and it enters her. Now possessed, Skye makes the macabre smile and inserts the microphone into her eye, extending the curse to all the fans present at the concert. And that's how the movie ends here. Thanks for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment below and tell me what movie or series you want me to recap next.